just before you start, Corn, obviously, like Corn said, everybody's going to get their say. All we ask is you respect other people's opinions and don't instantly start slagging somebody off for their opinion, and please mention no names. We're not here to, like Corn says, we're not here to point fingers at in particular people, so no names can be used whatsoever.
All right. So another reason why we're here. Everyone here is in this community because this is our bar, this is our hangout, this is what we do. We don't go out waste money, and I can speak for most of us on that part. Some of us are here together more than we are with our families. This is what we do. So, like I said, I wanted to have this meeting 4 or 5 weeks ago. So did Paul. Paul is the one that brought it up. I think it's time. I was going to put one up for Sunday. We're going to have another meeting Sunday for people who missed it, or any of you guys that per se want to add anything come Sunday. So everyone knows, not everyone knows, but there's been some drama here and there with civs, cops, civ on civ a little bit. I want to remind everyone, and I think a lot of people do know, it's like Las Vegas. What goes on in the server stays on the server, and there have been a few targeting issues. Not as many as some people may think. Would I say this? So, what I do, for instance, I put myself. And I'll be honest, I didn't used to do this. I used to be an angry asshole who got upset pretty easy a couple years ago. Not here, elsewhere, but I've learned through work and through here. I always try to put myself in other people's shoes, see how they see. I try to understand how they seen something, because when there's an RP situation with the cops and the civs, the cops might see one thing. They're not going to see the build up, the anticipation to it, and some of the police officers might get the wrong idea. That's not always the case when you come to think about it. I wish everyone. Hold on a minute. I don't really understand that. I'll let you speak in a minute. Anyway, evidently there's some hard feelings going on right now. They have been in the last few weeks. And myself, I don't have any hard feelings. I know other people have hard feelings, or there are misunderstandings. A lot of misunderstandings from what I'm understanding. I don't want that. None of us want that. Even the people that's having misunderstandings don't want that. I think some people are. Here's one thing I try not to do, and I'm pretty good at it, is get into he say she say stuff. I don't like doing that. I've learned from experience, from when I was younger. I've learned that is the worst way I could possibly go. I've learned to just sit back and take in information, all the information, and then go from there. If there's an issue with someone, instead of going around saying something about somebody, it'd probably be best to cool off for a minute, and maybe, since we are a tight-knit community, speak to that person alone, and ask them, say, hey, this is what I saw. Why did this happen? And if it starts to get out of hand, just leave the channel and take it to the member report thing. Let me bounce to the member report thing. About 6 months ago, tech jumped down my ass because I was trying to please everybody. I was trying to work out everybody's issues. Peter's been doing this too. He's been, I just pointed somebody's name out, but he's been trying to help situations in the past. Um, but it actually it ended up causing drama trying to work people's situations out. From people who aren't here no more, we just kept on trying to work them out, and it ended up causing drama for Tech. Every morning he would hear this, hear that, hear that, hear this, and it got to the point where member report or it didn't happen. Pretty much we want to do away with the drama. We want everybody to get along. We want to remind everybody why we're here. We're here to have fun and have fun in the game. I feel some of you have been. I think some of you feel you've been targeted. Maybe slightly. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think anybody's being targeted. I really don't. I just think people are not seeing things from the other point of view. Let me give. There was a cop a couple of the last days. His vehicle blew up a couple times. All right, just from having fun in a police chase, and it wasn't my obligation at all to refund him this cop car. But from hearing what's been going on and hearing the stress some of the police officers have been going through with money, I bought a couple cars for a certain person just because I know it's stressful. I don't know, but I don't know how stressful it is because I haven't been a police officer here, but I know from listening. So I try to help out the best I can. I try to do what I can do, but I just want everyone to be reminded why we're here. When we log on that server, there's supposed to be drama in the server. There's supposed to be drama. That's what RP is. It's drama. We just got to make clear we keep it in there. And if you feel someone's messing with you too much, I mean, let me put it this way. I'm going to say Tech because he ain't going to mind. I don't think there's anybody in this room. I'm not reading whatever is being typed right now. I'll get off track. But I don't think there's anybody in this room right now that actually has as much fun / drama / if you want to call it targeting than Tech does when he plays. When he plays once a week or so, when he has time because he works his ass off, he goes all out. And some of you are witnesses to this. And police officers have fun. And what's confusing me is, why is it being held against certain other people when they do these things? And they don't go as far as, it's like Tech said, it's cops and robbers. I just don't want people to be upset at other people. So if any of the other admins want to add anything in right now, and then you can start unmuting people, feel free.
I think you sum it up pretty well, I think, as well. Like you say, people shouldn't be offended with things that happen in game. Like you say, it's something that happens in game. It's there to stay there. I think as well, just when something happens in game, just remember to, if you're not sure as well, think of how it is for someone else. Because, yeah, we understand there are things that can annoy someone. You know, the little things like them losing a vehicle to you, but to them is something that massive. Like, for example, I know I've been a cop before, and losing a vehicle as a cop, despite the fact you get a lot of money, it's hell, and those kind of things. Remembering what it can be like to the other party is often something that's often useful. It's something that some people sometimes overlook, and by the end of it, that's in a way how it can become difficult. But yeah, like Corn quite rightly says, making sure it's kept in game and understanding that it is a community. We're all here and we're all friends anyway. So, and we're just friends beating the shit out of each other when we get the chance on the server. So it's all in good heart anyway.
Any other admins before we start unmuting one by one?
I've got nothing to tie.
No, pretty much said all I wanted to say.
Cool. Right, what I'll do is I'll unmute you one by one, starting. All I'll do is work my way down the list. So First off, it's going to be Admiral Sean.
Hey guys, Admiral Sean here. I'm kidding. Just the issue that I see a lot of the time pop up is that we all get super stressed out with each other, and we, as tech calls it, Chinese whispers, we all start festering and making things a whole lot worse. And I just want to repeat what Korn was saying earlier about if you have an issue with somebody, if they're picking on you too much, if they're causing too much trouble or something, drag them aside when you see them. Say, hey, I didn't like this, blah, blah, blah. Talk it through. There was a situation not too long ago where some of you may be aware I just got randomly shot. And I wasn't really sure what happened. I tried figuring it out in-game. I couldn't. It was out of my hands at that point, so I got an admin to look into it. And they found out who it was, pulled the person and myself into a channel, and we talked about it. It ended up going, oh, we're both sorry for the miscommunication. It really wasn't meant to happen, and that's where it ended. And that's where it should end, should we have issues with each other. Because this is just a big, fun community that we're supposed to have fun with. We're not supposed to be enemies. We're not supposed to try to slander each other and make everybody hate each other. That's the last thing anybody wants to do here. So with that all said, that is everything I wanted to say. So if you can pass the mic on to somebody else.
Will do. Next is True Saint.
Howdy. I don't have a lot to say, but one of the things, I know it's been a problem that people have been leaving their, oh, hey Peter. It's been a problem that, people, instead of staying to fix the problem, have been abandoning ship on whatever they're doing, whether it's PD, EMT, or Civ. And, we're kind of as you could say, a delicate ecosystem with the three of them. I mean, we can go do with, and I'm an EMT, and I'm admitting we can go without EMTs because we have the auto EMT, but there's no auto Civ, there's no auto PD, so we don't want people. It's better to, stay and help the situation, even if it's harder to do that, rather than just jump ship and let, because you're not helping anyone if you just leave. I don't know. I'm trying to explain this without mentioning names, but it's, it's not that easy. You're trying to, put the spotlight on anyone.
I will let everyone know, sorry to interrupt, if you guys want to use my name, you're more than welcome. I promise you. I just, myself, I don't want to finger
Korn's
point.
messing everything up. It's all Korn's fault.
But no, if you got to use me as an example, go ahead. I won't get mad if you got to use me as an example when it's your turn to talk. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I don't really have anything actually to say about OURKORN. But yeah, it's most pertaining to, the fact that we're losing cops, and without cops, less cops will play because there will be less of them, and no one likes playing alone, which is, why EMTs have kind of been in the low numbers. And if there's no cops, civs won't get on as much because there won't be there won't be enough cops to play against them. Something that I thought about today, though, was if we're having a problem with civs, the only people that they have to be against is cops. What we could try to do is get the gang atmosphere going again, where we have big gangs going against each other rather than having every civ's main enemy being the cops. It would be different gangs, not different gangs picking on new players, but different gangs picking on other gangs.
Very well said, and that has been done, and it's still done a little bit. That needs to, Civ on Civ needs to be implemented a lot. Just as he said, without getting butt hurt. Excuse my French. Don't take that the wrong way, anybody. But it could cause animosity, Civ on Civ. But just like the whole meeting's about, remember why we're here. To have fun. Is that all to say?
Yeah, that's about it.
Very
Thank you.
well said. All right.
Cool. Next is Crazy Stoner. When I find the oh, there it is. Are you there, Stoner?
Yeah, I'm here. Wow. Hello, everyone. I feel I'm kind of being put in the spotlight. No, I'm listening. It's, I did leave the police, as somebody was quite well saying, jumping ship. But there was a lot of reasons into that. Some of it did feel a bit trolley. Some of it was like having to have extra pages open and constantly recording software and that just with a crappy CPU wasn't helping and stuff like that. And in all fairness, like I say, like everyone says, we're here to have fun, and I just didn't feel like I was having much fun as a copper, so I thought I'd give something else a try. So that's why I jumped ship on the old police thing. Just all the paperwork and that, it's all just too much, man. I'm too lazy for that shit. That's pretty much all I've got to say.
Cool. You shot nothing else?
No, I'm fine.
If I may ask, you did join PD like a week or so after you was here, if that?
Yeah, I didn't really get to experience the thing. It's just hard as well, like, in all honesty, without, like, again, not mentioning names, not many people have been on that, and it was kind of like, we wanted to join, we trained, didn't really get much training, and it just feels like I'm kind of sat there, like, useless to what's going on. I can't really do anything. I don't know what I'm doing. So it just become a pointless exercise, really, just to sit there and, you know what I mean? Like I say, there's a lot of going around about trolling and being idiots and stuff like that. And, it does feel like that, because it just seems like people can do what they want as civs, you know what I mean? But as police, you're just totally restricted, man. You just, you know what I mean? You're always on the back foot, and for me, that's just no fun.
Okay, I was, if you don't mind me hitting on that point right there, about you went PD pretty fast because it looked exciting to you. I really liked you as a cop, still do. Maybe play Civ for a month or so and get the feel for, the feel for it. Because maybe you didn't get the feel for the mod before, because it could be. Trust me, I can't be cop because of it right now. I'm going to be this winter finally. When I don't work in the winter, but I can imagine the work the police have to do, and everybody has to remember that. So maybe, try Civ out for a little bit and have some fun, and then you'll go back to cop. But anyway, I just want to say you, in my opinion, you did it good as a cop.
I did enjoy the role. It was like I say, it's getting to the point where cars were getting blown up, and uniforms expensive. You know what I mean? And when you're constantly dropping your gear, at the point, me and another officer were at the point where we didn't have any vehicles, and we didn't even have any money to buy any vehicles. So we were just kind of like, well, what do we do? You know what I mean? We're fucked. Just because of all, the antics that have been going on.
Yeah, I'll hit on some points later, but just whenever you finish up, let us know.
Yeah, that's it. I'm pretty much finished.
Thank you very much.
I think something to add to that is, from my perspective, I've been literally every up and down side of the modern community, from the best and the worst, and I've experienced, the cop side to the commander level, and EMT to a high side, and Civ, and I love all of the sides, but everyone's always going to find the side that they really do like. And I was the same as you. I was, back when I joined years ago now, I was a Civ. I pretty much went EMT the first week, loved it, played, and eventually, I went and tried the other ones, and they all, you keep in the back of your mind, you'll always love the one that you went and tried out, but give Civ a try, and maybe that's the thing you end up loving. Maybe you suddenly find an urge to join the EMT service, and maybe you turn around and think actually cop was the thing you enjoyed more than anything. It's just kind of how it is. You'll always find the one that you really do enjoy, and that's what's that's what's so good about the community, being able to find the one thing you do, you enjoy, and you do enjoy the role you're playing as well as being around the people that you also enjoy being there with.
Okay, next is Digital X.
Hello, nothing really to say. Everything's been said, so yeah.
So you sure? Nothing to add?
Yeah.
Cool.
Site airport security.
Next is Hamling Tong. I think I pronounced that right.
Yeah, I've got not much really to say, but yeah. I've had no problems with anyone, to be honest. Since I've actually, joined this server.
Cool. Next is Jord 1990.
I would like to say that I think a lot of it comes down to how you treat each other. Like Korn said, next to the fucking about with each other. It's like, from what I've noticed from certain people, I just noticed that outside of chasing them or arresting them or shooting at each other, I just had zero conversations with them. And these were people that every time I would be online would just be there and, try to get in the chase, or if you were busy with paperwork and you were just watching them just run into the PD gate over and over again. I don't know. That's not the way I like to play. And with that in mind, I took an LOA because I honestly did feel like just, saying, well, I'm going to leave and not be back. But then I just decided to cool down for a week and think it through and see what would happen when I came back. Pretty much all I have to say.
And that's why we're having the meeting, because I've been hearing things, and I myself, and along with probably everybody in this channel, don't want everyone to leave a role they like doing. I'm gonna, since George, you have an open mic, I want to use, if it's okay to use RP instance me and you had. It was great. With my sister Mary. Is that okay? It's
yeah, go
anyway.
for it.
So I get arrested, and I could, if there was some people in my shoes, they probably would have really gotten mad. But me RPing as long as I have, not saying I'm better than anybody. I just read into it. Jord and his character was calling me a bitch over and over and over, and it was fucking great, because it was great RP. Now,
because you told those people to shoot me. Don't just pretend like I didn't call you a bitch for no reason.
It went on and on for probably 30 minutes, and it was great RP, because what that done, it caused more RP, where I got to call, quote, my brother. Now, for what I want to use this as an example of, he was angry in game, in character angry. That's, you can get angry in character, but it was so great, the anger in our characters, in our RP, it just caused so much more RP. And I think there was a few people witnessing it, and they're probably going, wow, you gonna let him talk to you like that? And I actually had to message once somebody, I'm like, dude, this is RP. This is great RP. There's no hard feelings. Anyway, I just wanted to use that as an example, because in character, I pissed him off. And in character, he retaliated, which is great. That's the way I want things to go here, is we need RP drama. That's what RP is, and that is great shit, because no hard feelings were hurt. It actually caused more RP. Anyway, I just wanted to add into that.
I don't mind that, right? Like, that's okay with me. but when I'm not naming any names, but I show up, right? There's gunshots fired at the airfield, right? And we know there's another officer there, but he's not on comms. And I know he's carrying an AK, and I hear an AK going off as well. I show up, and I see a civilian with the weapon that was fired. I shoot that civilian, because by SOPs, shots fired, armed suspect is you shoot the civilian. If that civilian then just starts like, oh wow, I got shot by a cop, 10 out of 10, great job man, great job, while he's supposed to be, critically injured on the ground, that really annoys me, and it wasn't boiled down to a single instance. It happened with DeFagus cuffing that person as well.
No names.
I do want to add one more, since you kind of brought something to my memory that I wanted to speak on. Since it's here now, I'm going to go ahead and let it out. So, member reports. If a member report is put on you, it's a member report. If a member report's put on me, I'm going to know it's a member report. I think there's going to be member reports put up when people go out of RP in game. It's not to piss the person off, not to get the person banned. Let me emphasize that a lot. It's not to get the person banned. It's to remind everybody we have to stay in character in game. And I know there's accidents. There are accidents in game where I'll be standing next to somebody. I'm going to use Jordan. If I'm standing next to him, I'll say, hey, Jordan. Oh, fuck. I mean John Winters. That's an accident. When we're something like he just said, if somebody goes out of RP and just starts bitching, you have to remember, if you think something's done wrong, if you think a rule was broken against you, you have to stay in RP and be the better person. You have to. You have to. If someone's breaking rules, if someone's going out of RP, please stay in RP yourself. Please. But anyway, the thing is, if a member report's put up on anybody for going out of RP, when people start seeing those, it's a reminder. We're not taking stabs at you. We're not wanting you gone from the server. We're wanting to fix things that are wrong, and we don't want grudges to be held against. We don't. I don't want grudges held against me. I don't, because, for instance, if I put a report up on somebody, that doesn't mean I dislike them. It doesn't. Anyway, I just wanted to hit on that since you brought something like that up.
Well, like I said, I think it all boils down to being a bit more respectful to each other at the end of the day. I think you can, take a lot from someone that you laugh with, then later, while you're standing at the airport and you're having a nice chat.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I have to say.
Cool. I do apologise. I have just noticed the time. I do have to go to bed because I'm at work at 5 AM. So one of you that admins could start, go on the talk how the next person is actually Killaway. So I will see you all at some point tomorrow, hopefully.
Alright. Peter, you want to be the man doing it?
User disconnected from your channel.
Thing? Who we up to?
Kellaway.
Up to. Oh no.
Yeah, that guy.
Hello.
Hey. Lesson
action.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to say apart from the last 2 weeks or so has been very stressful as an officer. It does feel like we've been targeted. I know you say that isn't the intentions, but it does feel like we've been targeted. There's not been many officers online lately. Probably I'm just one of the few sad bastards with no life, but being on majority of the time, still fairly new to the server, still fairly new as a cop, and getting used to things. There's been a few times where there were just like myself and two new recruits, and there's been like things like kidnappings going on, stuff that we've no idea how to deal with. You know, we've kind of tried the best we could, we've winged it. It's never really worked out, apart from probably yesterday is probably the first officer we've got back since I've been around. Yeah, just stuff like that. Just the little things. Like I say, it does feel like we've been targeted over the last few weeks. I know now from you saying that that isn't your intentions. I understand that. Yeah, that's pretty much it, really. It's nobody's fault that we haven't right now got the training to deal with these sort of things. I'm sure that'll come in time. It's a shame that we have got officers leaving because of the situations that have been going on over the last few weeks, and it's making the situation even more worse for the officers that are around now. Like I said, there was just basically me and two other officers on pretty much all day, every day, like 17, 18 hours a day, and now there's just me. So I can't be in like 5 different places at once dealing with, all sorts of different stuff. So yeah, that's just all I've got to say, really.
All right. Well, I just want to remind. I know. Just a refresh. It's, as Tech would say, it's cops and robbers, and there is a pushing point. I know there is. I'm talking to the civs here. I don't know, but there is a thing called targeting, and there is a thing called RP. I'm not calling you out. I'm just reminding everybody. How would I say it? Say if you have 3 or 4 instances back to back to back to back, that could seem like targeting, but
well,
go ahead.
I know what you're saying, but I mean, I have personally been told off someone that is their intentions, to make our life difficult. Like I say, I can't mention no names, but I have 100% been told that was the intention at the time, to make our life difficult, and that they enjoyed making our life difficult. So I'm just basically going off that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a shame, really. I mean, we don't really have any other interactions with any other civilians when we're out on patrol. When I first started as a civilian, I used to get pulled over, just going a few kilometers per hour over the speed limit or whatever, and it'd be a good interaction with the police officer and stuff. But we don't seem to have that anymore. Like, we can't pull anybody over for speeding because we're too busy dealing with someone that's been kidnapped, or getting shot at for whatever reason. We're just struggling to get any sort of interaction with anybody else, apart from like the few people that are doing all this stuff to take us away from that.
I'm going to use somebody as an example. I'm not going to say no names, but when that person's ready to talk, if they want to, they're in this channel. I have RP'd Kill Away in game. Like I said, everything in game, it stays in that channel. When we get out, and it's a totally different world. But I have told a police officer, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you good. I'm going to get you, and I'm coming for you. You can say that's targeting, but it's RP. There's a difference between, I guess, trolling and targeting. I have went after. I'm not sure the situation you're talking about. I don't know about it, but maybe they was RPing. I don't know, but I have told plenty of cops, I'm coming for you. I am coming for you, and they knew I was coming for them. So if that person's willing to say it when it's their turn to talk, like I said, you can use my name. But I just I don't know, Killaway, if it was targeting. I'm just saying, I have told people in game, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you hard. You're going to spend a lot of time with me in the woods. But I promise it's going to be fun. So
yeah, and that's fine. Like, you know, I've been kidnapped off you before. I think it was you anyway, but no, it might not have been. But whatever. I've been kidnapped a few times, and you know, it is good and it's fun and stuff. But yeah, I just think, like, you know, when there's like one officer and 2 recruits, then, you know, it's just hard to deal with, I suppose, if we don't really know what we're doing.
Learn along the way. Just
well, yeah, that's
like last night.
That's part of it.
Last night went smooth, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It
did.
was pretty good, yeah.
That was a great job. I was meaning to message you after that. Anyway, whenever you're done, let us know, then we'll have Peter do the next person.
Yeah, I've nothing else to say, really. I've got no hard feelings against anybody. I just, just wanted to say them few things, really.
Miss Titan.
Bang. Well, he's already said doesn't have anything to say. But if you do, then just let us know.
Alright, Pingu, you have the floor.
Yo. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I've been back for about a month now. But yeah, I found it a bit difficult at first, obviously going through the training with the police and all that. But like I said, the reason why I left the police is not because of anybody. It was just the fact that we had no numbers on EMT. So at the minute now, I'm just doing my my months as a civ. But yeah, I'm enjoying my experience on here. So yeah, it's all good for me.
Okay, great. Peter, you got it? No?
Oh, sorry, I was daydreaming. Who's next?
Steampunk. I think they have a lot of questions.
Hello, ask your questions away. Hello.
Hello. I was going to give you a warning that I have been on the server for a maximum 15 minutes, like a long time ago, 3 months ago, and I'm going to give you a second try, but I have no idea what's going on, so I can't really ask any questions.
Alright. Alright, and we'll go to the next one.
Hello, Mom.
Hello.
Right, I'm in a similar boat where I've only got about 4.5 hours time on the server, but I just really want to hammer home a point that I come from the MMORPG community. I've also been in plenty of life communities. I was in Street Life, which, oh gee, it was abysmal. You don't want to hear the horror stories from there, man. People took everything personal. People didn't RP a character. They were basically be themselves as they would in like Takistan Life, and I'd hate to see that happen here, because it seems like everybody here does want it. basically, I'm having Vietnam flashbacks from it already. But no, I just wanted to hammer home the point that you are playing it, and it's a character that you're talking to. You're not speaking to, say, another person. Yes, it is another person speaking back to you, but it's. And to differentiate myself, I'm going to start using a Jamaican accent because, you know, then it's easier to differentiate between the character and me when you're talking to me on the other side of the team speak. But that's, you know, I do it. And I try to do that. I know I haven't, but it was... Oh. I'm from, yeah, where Geordie is. Right, that's the only point. That's the only point that I wanted to have.
Well said, though.
User joined your channel.
Sounds like chat's got some creepy pulls out to leave.
User left your channel.
Thank you. Oh, look who it is. Oh.
I'm not here to bitch about anyone, so don't worry. Nothing to say.
I just looked over and had to right click on you, and you tell me that.
User joined your channel.
No one's here to bitch about anybody.
Just, Mr. Wicked.
Hello.
Oh, he's here!
I am here. I've just been hiding. Well, you did mute me. Alright, so I've been a cop for a little while now. Probably, as it goes, the longest going police officer on the force at the moment. Not on very much. I do work nights, unfortunately. That is my downfall for having a shitty job, but there you go. I'm here now. And I have experienced what some officers have been called targeting, and I have looked back on videos on people's streams and stuff, and had people actually quote they were targeting me and stuff. And you know, when you hear shit like that, it's like, well, why should I bother playing if it's not going to be roleplayed? It's just going to be, you know, a deathmatching fest, sort of shit. So now and again, I take time off and put LOAs in because I don't want to come on just to see a bunch of civs standing outside the police gates. Because what a lot of civs don't take note of is whatever shit you want to pull on the cops, we have to write it all down in a document. And it's like, you know, 3 sections that we have to do for every little crime. And believe me, we don't want to be sitting around coming back from a job just to end up doing a completely other job, writing up paperwork, when we should be playing the game. Obviously, it is part of the game to do the paperwork, but when it's constantly being bombarded with what I would definitely call cop baiting, because standing outside CLPD gates and running in and out, causing a fuss, trying to pop our tyres when we leave the PD and, you know, smashing into our vehicles just to bait a chase is targeting. Because you're basically trying to initiate a chase just so you can get something going.
Oh yeah, I don't mean to interrupt, but it's cops and robbers. And I do have an itch, I guess. I'm not bitching at you, but I do have an itch, and it itches me. I'm going to bring tech back up. Either people don't notice it. I'm not pointing you out, Wicked. I'm not pointing you out. I'm just using it for all the police officers, past and present. When tech plays, he griefs / targets, if that, whatever you guys want to call it, what anybody wants to call it. I call it RP. Cops more than anybody in this community, and they have fun. What's confusing me and why we're having this meeting is, why is these things not said to him? Because in my opinion, he doesn't target. He's having fun. It's cops and robbers, and it upsets me when people accuse us of doing it and not him, which he's not doing it. The name, that's what we do. It's cops and robbers. We have to remember, you know, I can't say any more clear. It's cops and robbers. No one's ever said that to Tech. And like I said, I'm not pointing you out, but it does itch me on why it's not said to Tech. I mean, I brought it up to Tech. And Tech even said, well, they're not going to say this to me. They have fun. They have fun doing it. I'm just lost and confused. And there was a point about 2 months ago where you was targeted all in RP, and it was from me. I'm blasting myself, but I told you I was coming for you, and I just want people to know that I'm not targeting. I'm RPing.
I guess the way to put it is Tech changes it up a lot. Usually when we get in a situation with Tech, it's always a different situation. What I'm trying to get at is people are doing the same repetitive things over and over and over again, and it's like, fucking hell, if the criminal is going to come and stand outside PD, slap a cop, and then do it again the next day, he's not really learnt his lesson. He's just doing it for the sake of getting into a chase. And that, to me, is not roleplay. It's just being a dick. And that's the way I'm going to see it, and that's the way I'm always going to see it. And if I'm going to be quite honest, people are going to keep doing it.
Okay, I mean...
We've had several meetings before that. I remember when someone brought up everyone at the CLPD gate when I was still a recruit because of this shit that was going on, and try to have a discussion about it, and here we are again today, still going on.
Oh no, that wasn't a meeting. That was that was a mess. I was part of that.
All I'm saying is we're echoing the same things that we've already spoken about for months and months. And
all right, well, let me add this.
All I can say is if people don't try and change up their roleplay, it's like Tech said himself when me and you were in the room, Con. Why don't you guys do illegal street races or even try robbing the bank now? Because there's a bank system in there. People don't even try and do that now, and it's just the same old stand outside main PD and wait for a cop to come out and start an argument with them.
Alright, well, I'm going to say this and leave it at that. People have their feelings. People are going to be set just like you're going to be set on what you believe. I'm not saying you're doing this. I'm saying this for everybody else in the channel. Let's not spread it throughout the community because I don't like slander. I'm not saying you're doing it, but there is some slander going around. If something's not right with someone, don't slander them. That's to everyone.
At the end of the day, is with cops is it's 50% playing, 50% working, because we do have to do paperwork and we do have to follow a procedure and follow SOPs, and we are restricted. So of course, I can understand why cops are getting frustrated because civs have so much free will to do shit, and even when they do get caught, they cry about it. When you give them a certain time limit and they like, oh, that's not right. I've been waiting in the PD for 15 minutes while you were gathering evidence. How dare you make me stay longer than I should? Like, that's like, part of the SOPs. We are just being the cops are doing what they've been told to do through the forums and the SOPs. We don't make the rules up. We have to follow a procedure. So what annoys me most is when people jump down the cops' throat for doing something they've been told to do and what we've been trained to do. We didn't make this up. That is part of the community's rules. And I think that's what annoys me more than anything is when people attack you for it.
I think something from the perspective of, like I said before, being a PD commander and being a cop for a good, I can't remember how many months, it was over 6 months, being a civ, a decent amount of time. I've seen this perspective from both sides and kind of spoken from kind of a back foot in both scenarios. And I know that I've even spoken to, for example, as a civilian, I've spoken to cops after these kind of things have happened and vice versa. Cops will always get annoyed from civs because they'll, regardless of whether it is or not, cops will always feel like they're being targeted, and sometimes they will feel like they're being targeted in a harsh way. And, like I say, I'm not here to say whether they are or not. And civs will also, and it frustrates cops, and cops because then the cops feel like they're then being, you know, oh, if they're going to do that, I'm going to, you know, stay indoors or, you know, whatever. Civs then get frustrated. They go and do all these things to what we, you know, say, try and bait the cops out. The things people don't necessarily think of at that moment is what's going through the other person's mind or what the other people are doing. For example, cops do have paperwork, and it can be difficult and it can be overwhelming. And it's when cops are inside PD for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they're not just in there because they don't want to socialise and RP with the civs. It's not the case. They're there because they might be, re-gearing, or they might be doing crime reports. They might actually be dealing with someone else inside that PD base. And then from the civilian perspective, they may have had something planned. They may have been working on something for ages. From a cop perspective, never assume that the civs are literally just there to fuck with you and they've just decided to do it because they're bored or anything like that. And from the other perspective, never assume that cops are just sat inside PD because they're being lazy or because they can't be asked to do anything. It very, very rarely is the case, and that's, from a perspective of seeing both sides.
Yeah, that's why we're having the meeting. And just like what he said, it's rarely the case. It may feel like that, but please don't have it in your head that that's the way it is, because it's cops and robbers. And just like you brought up, Wicked, about the meeting, that wasn't a meeting. That was a shit show. And you know how horrible that was. That wasn't even by me. That was by another person who held that so-called meeting. And I was upset because that was a real life friend. And he didn't understand anything that was going on. RP was ruined because of that, Wicked. A lot of RP was ruined because of that, because everything was in game. So I hope you feel different. I don't target no one. I will tell you I'm coming for you if you. I think a lot of people are getting confused on TFR and TeamSpeak. I really think there's a lot of confusion, and this is why I'm holding the meeting. No one's holding grudges. I hope not. It seems grudges are being held. I don't want that. No one wants that, because that's the way I feel. That's the way a lot of people feel. No one wants grudges, and it feels like there's grudges right now, and we don't want that.
It's just with cops, there's a lot more work going to it than what Civ has to see. I know you haven't been a CopCon, so it's hard to describe. So say, for example, we've got you in an interview room and we're processing you. At the same time, we are tabbed out a game, already filling in paperwork. That's, about 3 pages worth of it. And it's mostly a lot of section filling. It's not like we have to type up a lot, but at the same time, we still have to try and keep it in roleplay and speak with the person in question. And, a lot of the time it is just trying to keeping on top of everything is one of the main factors that annoys a lot of cops. Is, you deal with one crime, and as you're dealing with one crime, filling out a report, there's already like 2 more crimes going outside PD, and you haven't got enough officers to send to that situation because you got 2 staying back filling paperwork out. It's like it can be a complete clusterfuck sometimes.
Oh, I know. I've been told by real life friends how hard it is, and that's why there's two reasons I'm Civ right now. One is in the summertime I have a working season. I'm off 5 months in the winter, and everyone knows that. The other reason is I actually think I need to be Civ to help Civs out and set an example. That's just me. Maybe a lot of you might laugh about that, but I really think I need to be on this side, especially right now. I think I help out a lot. I'm patting myself on the back. 5 weeks ago when NATO went PD, I was jumping through joy. I could jump in my 10-foot. I was jumping for joy. That was the greatest thing that ever happened. it was great. But I know some of those police officers didn't want to, but I think they're having fun, and I just don't want no one to hold grudges. That's why we're here. No one wants to be slandered. The RP needs to be great, and so forth. I just want you to feel, Wicked, that you're not being targeted. I guess I can't express that no more.
Not target this current time, but I have been targeted, and all I can say is I have seen people admit it, and that's in the past now. All I can say is I hope it doesn't happen again in the future, where it escalates to the point where people feel they need to kill me over and over again to set an example. Because all you're going to set for that is I'm going to get annoyed because I don't feel like it's roleplay going on, and I just won't play. End of the day, this is a video game and a community. The community is the important part, but it is a video game, and if I'm not having fun on a video game, I'm going to jump off and play something else. I'm not going to try and fight through bullshit. I'm sorry to be so, like, abrupt and to the point with it, but that's just how I feel on the standpoint on things. But yeah, I think I've said all I need to say.
I think while we're here, I just wanted to, some people are like talking here in the chat. The thing with the military, and for a lot of people, the new people from that side, that they might not understand, the military wasn't like what you'd expect. The military was there for helping out AI missions, helping out the cops if they desperately needed it in martial law, but they were in no way the kind of people that would just, they're not the kind of people that would just patrol everywhere and have no allowance of guns and anything like that. That is not in any way like it is. Talking about martial law, the cops have their rights to do that within their ranks and things like that. But the martial law, that's, as far as I know, been maybe 3 or 4 times. I as like in my 6 to 9 months as a commander, I only called martial law once. It's something that very rarely happens. And talking in regards to cops, and there's 12, and you want to get them on. That's the same as the civilians. We don't know, and I certainly don't know off the top of my head, how many civilians there are. And looking at this channel, and there's 19 of you in this channel, and not everyone is a cop here, and not everyone is a civ, but not every one of you is on the server at the same time. Things like that. Not every EMT is on at the same time, not every cop's on at the same time. That's not something we can expect. We've got to understand that, yes, there are 12 cops, but they've got their time zones, and they've got their jobs and things like that, and it's great to see that there are 12 people, and they are coming along. And yes, to answer the question, we do need cops, but at the end of the day, we also need EMTs, and we also need civs. So, like I said just before, if you think you're going to enjoy that side of the mod, go and enjoy that side of the mod, and, happily go and join it and pursue it and try it out. That's what you should do. And yeah, like you say, it is a video game, but we are here, and we are a community, and we are here to enjoy ourselves. So it's the main thing. Everyone should be here to enjoy themselves, and like we say, it's hard to be a cop. I know it is hard to be a cop, but it's also hard to be a civ, from a different perspective. And there are some times when civs do things in maybe the not right way. For example, if civs wanted to rob the bank, that involves a hell of a lot of work involving in doing that, and a lot of planning and things like that, because everyone knows from that perspective. I don't know, for example, growing drugs. It's easy for civs to grow drugs, and cops might have all that paperwork when they catch these guys growing drugs, but the satisfaction of catching a drug dealer or a guy that's planting their drugs is, for me, amazing. That's something that is rewarding from the cops' perspective, and you get to lock a civ away for however many hours they get locked away for. So yeah, PD's hard, and it's something you can go over.
Just short interruption. I'm going to say, Wicked. Well, I'll give you. You was good at busting drug dealers. So that's something you could be teaching. That you did a damn good job. You had a little bit of help from some great RP, But, you know, you start doing that, people have enemies, you keep that going.
It's hard to say because right now we, as officers, again, restricted, as I said before, when it comes to training, we can't do certain things or get access to certain equipment until we had said training to use said equipment. So we're essentially hands tied. We can't just run around with sniffer dogs and track people who've got drugs in them unless we're trained in narcotics. You need to be a pilot. Pass your pilot license and also be a trained pilot in the PD to actually use a helicopter to scan for drugs. I don't have either of those yet. Again, it all boils down to training, and unfortunately, I have a work schedule that is very unsocial hours.
I think.
And the only reason I'm here right now is because I've had an argument with my boss today. So that's why I got my day off. So,
from that perspective, in training and things like that, is and from the cop perspective, if as cops, and this is, I stick by this and something I believe in. If cops didn't have to train for anything, and if cops didn't have any paperwork, it wouldn't be as interesting. It wouldn't be as fun of a role. And yes, the paperwork isn't great, but it becomes part of the job. And like you say, like George mentioned there, that when you capture civs and they bitch and moan, if a civ doesn't bitch and moan the whole way there, and I know there are different ways that people can bitch, again, it takes away the entertainment side of it. And I've had this experience of having to deal with people that are incredibly difficult. There are ways of working around it. You can charge people for swearing at you, for abusing you, all those little things, and there is nothing stopping you as a cop adding them up and adding them up and adding them up. And it's harsh, it is, but you get away from that. And I know you got to remember, you've just arrested someone, you've just busted someone for weapons trafficking or drug dealing or whatever. Of course they're going to be a prick to you. You got try and overlook that, and remember, you still have them under your control. And if they are difficult for you, they're not complying. If they don't, answer you when you're giving them the chance to plead guilty or not, then yeah, they plead guilty. It's their choice.
Yeah, I just want to hit on something right there. I know when NATO went, there was a big discussion. Like I said, this meeting was going to happen 5 weeks ago when people were on different sides. It was going to happen, and there are witnesses in here. There was a super that went to the cops. I was responsible for going to the civ side, and it was reminded, just what you said, Peter. The cops have the ability to, if they feel they're really being trolled, and if someone's, you said people were hard to handle. I'm going to use a name here. They're no longer here. I know one person they gave you a very hard time. His name was Dozer, and that was horrible for you. I could imagine. But if that's done, anyway, I went to the civs about 5 weeks ago. And a super went to the cops and said, look, there's going to be more because there actually wasn't no interaction about 6 weeks ago with no cops and civs. So we wanted the interaction to get bigger. So there was a super that went to the cops and said, look, if the RP is great, knock off a shit ton of their time. Because why do you want someone in jail that's causing some fun? But your fun's sitting in the cell. That was done. Cops, who was cops then, listened, and they did exactly that. Good RP was almost you're set off scot-free almost, and not scot-free, but you did your time. But the book wasn't thrown at you. And then I went to the civ side and said, look, if you give the cops hell and harass them and start bitching and moaning, you're going to get your due set time. You deserve it. RP it. If you RP it and you have fun and you get that cop laughing, your time's going to be knocked off. And sure enough, it was. So, but just like what Peter said, I'm not telling you guys to do that or whatever, but I do know a lot of cops now wasn't here when that changed or when that super went to the cops and said this stuff. I know there's some cops here that was, and it's been done fabulously. But if a civ gives you hell and bitches and moans, throw the fucking book at them. I mean, you have the upper hand then. They'll eventually learn. But if the RP's great, give them some slack on both ways. I mean, yeah, just wanted to hit off on what you said there.
Yeah, it's like I said, when things pile up, again, we as cops don't want to arrest someone for swearing because no one wants to fill out a 2-page arrest report, jail report for someone swearing at an officer. It's end of the day, I could probably speak for a lot of cops. They'll just think that is totally not worth the time, and a lot of things just gets ignored for that very reason. And sometimes civs are, they're trying. They want something to happen, whether they get arrested or they get away. They want something to happen, and you can tell sometimes the cops are just not into it, and that can be the very reason, because the first thing that comes in their head is it really worth the paperwork to come after somebody because they've insulted them?
Maybe then something that I can go off and talk to some people that are, for example, I can talk to the commanders of the police and, people like Paul and Tech. One thing that could be possible is that we understand that, if civs are feeling hard done by, they're going to plead not guilty, and immediately that's the drop in the, it's like dropping a brick on a cop's foot, and I know that, and it is annoying. And for example, Jord over here has to put up with his 3000 ping every time he's got to upload a video, but it becomes part of the job. Maybe there's something that can be changed, so if the charge is under an hour, under half an hour, whatever, you do as you need to, because it's going to be speeding or whatever. It's not going to be much evidence you need to provide. If it's something that becomes shooting, murder, anything like that, then they take it to court. The evidence gets uploaded and the court case comes along, because you bring in the court case, you bring in that extra RP, but maybe cops don't have to deal with it there and then and feel the ridiculous amounts of pressure. The civs get stressed out, they get stressed out, and you end up getting that argument because everyone feels like cops will feel like the civs wasting their time by pleading not guilty, and the civs will feel like the cops wasting their time for taking ages to upload all the evidence and things like that. And it happens, it does, and it's hard on both people's perspectives, but often it isn't something that can be helped from just looking at it perspective, but maybe having something where at a certain perspective it can just be taken to court over having to rely on the cops to have to upload the evidence there and then might be something that is nicer on the cops, but still lets you do what you need to do.
Yeah, I discussed this with some recently new cops. We were actually in the middle of processing somebody, and then I remember one of the officers said they didn't want to try and push these charges on this person because of fear of it going to court, and he said he does not want to go to court about it. But that's the whole aspect of being a cop, so it's trying to get that into the officers as well, especially new ones, that sometimes it does have to go to court, but if you have the evidence to prove then a valid case, you should take it to court, and that's just like something they need to learn as they go.
Of course, and don't get me wrong, and this is from I've been obviously as a judge and I've been as a commander, and in that time, one person ever, like in over a year and a half, out of every single person that's ever been on the cop side has ever been fired from their job. Don't ever think that the whole reason of a court case is to get that person's out of a job or anything like that. That's never ever going to be the intention of anything like that. And it's people shouldn't be scared of using the court system. It's RP. We're never going to fuck someone over. Like, I know, for example, from my perspective, if someone comes in and demands $500,000 against a cop for so and so, it's not going to happen. It's not going to be something that we're going to let happen. We're not there to fuck people over in the court system. It's there because it's something that can be fun to use rather than a pain and a scare. So, if that cop does feel like they are worrying about a court system, I know Miss Titan wants to become paralegal, and we talked to her about that. And people, they can talk to me or Paul about it from the judge perspective. We're not going to be dicks about it, and it's there to help everyone and to give that external view on the whole thing.
I think we've went through everybody except for the people I drug in that was late. And that would be Akita? Erica?
I think Admiral wanted to touch on something earlier. I remember him writing a message about that. I don't know if he still does.
Wakey!
Fuck, man, it's been a little while. I completely forgot what I wanted to say. Actually, no, I do remember. So it's for the whole.
And he's gone.
Nope.
Welcome back.
So what I wanted to talk about the charges were, as a police officer, you have discretion over what charges you want to place on somebody. Yes, your base charges. Okay, so say somebody gets into a pursuit, they kill somebody, like they shoot somebody. We'll just say nice attempted murder, failure to stop, speeding, reckless driving, all that stuff. You don't have to hit them with every single charge. You really don't. You can hit them with your main charge if they. When I was a cop, was if they're being a dick in roleplay, then I'm going to be a dick in roleplay, but I'm not going to reflect that on their charges. And if they're being very polite, very cooperative, they're creating good roleplay, making your night enjoyable, then I'm going to be very lenient. Say just, you did shoot the guy or something, but since you're being cooperative, I'm going to drop your other charges, so I'm just going to pin you on attempted murder. You're not going to get manhandled by your commanders. I know that for certain. And it's going to send an impression to that person too that you are not there just to fuck them over, and they're probably going to be a little bit more what should I say, lenient with you in terms of roleplay and chasing you or getting you into car chases and shit like that. So it really just boils down to what you decide, because as a officer you have control over how the roleplay goes, and that is something I don't think the current officers quite understand. EMTs and the police have complete control on how certain roleplay situations will pan out. Use that to your advantage. Absolutely use that to your advantage. And there are SOPs, yes, that do restrict you. Now, look at those SOPs and study them and try to figure out if a civilian's fucking you over constantly and you don't know how to handle it. Take a quick browse at your SOPs and see what you can do. Not bend the law or anything, but roleplay the situation out and then use your SOPs to your advantage. Make sure you're recording. I know a lot of people say they have issues with their computers, being able to do that and whatnot, but record even at a low resolution, record at low FPS. You don't have to have 1080p quality for your evidence. And what people have been saying about who should deal with the not guilty, that should just be left up to the courts, because the court system does actually implement really good roleplay. So, Peter Bush, I think you were the one saying that maybe we should just have the cops just handle the arrest, and then if they disagree with it, if they think not guilty kind of deal, they take that to court.
Maybe over a certain perspective, because cops are still we can't take it all away from cops. If it's over an hour or something when it becomes a major crime,
and I certainly think that would be a beneficial way of doing things. But you just gotta, cops, you just gotta remember that you don't have to stick everybody with every charge, and if you do, they're not gonna be happy with you, and they're not gonna roleplay happy with you. But if if you roleplay well with them and they roleplay well with you, you guys can, just as what Corn and they were saying earlier, let them off pretty much scot-free. Serve your 30 minutes jail time, get back out there, create some more RP.
Or
that's
I don't want to get off. It seems like we're getting off subject, or I just want to hit it on it again, even though we're getting off subject. Charge them with everything, reduce their sentence, make them do community service, make them plant some. Just make. There's so much RP that people forget about. You can charge them. You can make them do community service. It's fun. I've done community service. Anyway, I don't want to get off target. The main target here is we don't want to slander. We don't want to hold grudges. We are in Las Vegas when we hit TFR, and that's pretty much why we're here. I just want everyone to remember that that's Las Vegas. This is our house.
It's very much like Las Vegas. I join the server, and when I leave, I have absolutely no money on the server.
There is a casino, right?
There is. I made it. I remember.
Before we end this, there's two people I drug in here, Akita and Eric, I think. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your names. Do you guys want to say anything before we end this?
I don't think they're right. You won't actually be able to talk, so if you do, just say in chat.
Yeah, in chat.
Just that you're back. Welcome back. Yeah, just in case people forget as well, recently dog has been made to be the only legal meat, so any other meat on you is now illegal. So, yeah.
No, we're going to talk about this in game, boy.
Just thought I'd let everyone know while they're actually here. That's just passing on a message from the Senator Holy Folk. Fish isn't. Fish is fine because it doesn't really constitute a meat. Yeah, dog when it comes to the meats. Human meat, that's disgusting.
Well, what I would like to do, I would like to follow up Sunday to see how we go, and hopefully everyone has a good week and continues. Not to, it's just everyone get along outside TeamSpeak. I want everyone to rip each other's face off inside TFR in RP sense. And I know people have stuff to do, but we have a lot of people on right now. It'd be great if we could fill up the server. I'm done. I'm not sure if anybody else has anything to say, any of the admins. So.
Yeah. True Saint has a maggot. Apart from that, I'm all done.
Oh, I think it is started. I don't think Paul put it back on open. Is it open? Paul did message me and said he restarted it.
Alright, in that case, I will go on holiday in a few hours, so I'll miss you. Don't turn into a tomato, whatever you do.
Hey, Taiku, are you there?
Is it restarting now?
Might be.
Could I speak to you?
Maybe.
User disconnected from your
Peter,
channel.
is it up or is it restarting? Because he said he already restarted it.
Whoa, that's a personal question. I have no idea. I will check.
User left your
Feel
channel.
free if you want to all move into Project Office or join in server. So
User was
you
moved
can